It's Wednesday. It's June, what, 3rd? Yep. Happy birthday to my brother tomorrow. This is our one Zoom this week. We will no longer have Friday Zooms, so you now have the gift of time. I'm happy to see you all. I imagine that you have been following the news and that you have seen some very serious public comment, let's say, about situations for African Americans on the continent. These are expressions of outrage and accumulation of that outrage over time. And our hearts go out to all those who get injured in those expressions when they turn violent. I would ask that you keep in mind how best to contribute to positive situations in your own sphere of influence, and that you take seriously your franchise of the vote. However, the vote happens in November, that you make sure that you vote your conscience, and that if you have the means, that you contribute to those agencies and those institutions that support equity and justice for all. We've had meetings of the chancellors since Friday on both days. A lot of this is still talking about issues that come up, not necessarily always being resolved, but there are lots of issues that come up that get talked about many, many times. So let's get you updated a little bit, and then we will make sure that the the rest of the team gets a chance to talk. Okay, so our CCC committees and subcommittees are working very hard to create guidelines for many different aspects of back to work in the fall. And they are at different places. And so thank you to all of the folks who are contributing their insights to those subcommittees. And I'll ask each of the folks in charge of those committees to report to you on what the developments are. As I said to you before, there are layers of these committees. So the President Lassner has working groups looking at 60,000-foot policies. The UHCCs has one group of folks looking at facilities, and we have our own committees. And there are some concerns about, well, we're duplicating efforts, it's redundant. And I would argue that our folks on our campus know our campus best. So the things that we need to implement that are specific to us, we need to be the ones to make those guidelines. We will be mindful of the guidelines that are set by President Lassner's group, especially when it comes to OGC, the Office for General Counsel, and those other higher umbrella policies. We will be mindful of those and make sure that what we have developed on our campus align those once those are developed. But we can't sit and wait for them to be developing their umbrella policies without our doing our work. But we will check in with them when they actually get and sent out. Our questions about the tenure and promotion, we're still waiting for language about extensions based on the COVID. We haven't seen that yet. It's in the works. But the 2020 tenure and decisions right now are with the president, and we expect those to be made public very soon. We used to wait for the Board of Regents agenda to see all of those, but that's not the way it's going to be done. As in the last couple of years, it'll come out from the president's office. I think President Straney's office will be putting out the list final decisions. Let's see. Professional development has started. Thank you very much to Top to Go. Last time when we spoke, I guess it was Friday, there were 160 participants. I'm guessing there's more than that now. Top to Go participants. Thank you, Jamie. I knew this. I knew this was happening. As soon as I said Top to Go, that you would be there. Wrong link. Okay. We are encouraging, not mandating, that folks avail themselves of the that are being provided in the system. My understanding is that there are 3 system initiatives. Top to Go is one, Leeward has a program, and UH Manoa has a program. And you know that you're encouraged to do this as well. Full-time faculty and lecturers are encouraged to take advantage of these. There's also going to be a stipend made available for those folks who take, who participate in the professional development and actually have a deliverable. And the stipend would be $200 per program. So if you do Top to Go and you do Manoa and you do Leeward, you will get dollars for each of those with the deliverables. And that's, you cannot earn more than $600 over this summer. And deliverable who meet certain criteria, and I will let Deans talk about that. Enough to go in summer too. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. You have to complete all the requirements for the certificate. And if you get the certificate, then can your about anything that I've said. Electronic submission option for tenure and promotion this fall. You mentioned talking to UPA. That is actually going to be happening today. Vice President Lacroix is going to be meeting with Christian Fern, and that will be one of the items on discussion, which is getting the blessing from UPA on providing faculty with an option for online submission. Non-teaching peer eval might not be required. Yeah, I think we made a decision, didn't we, Maria?
Yes.
Did we put that in writing anywhere?
I think so. I don't know, there's so many things going around already. I think it was in one of the emails that came from Kakao. I'll look for it.
Okay, let's make sure we put that in writing and share it so that the DPCs don't start saying, hey, where's your non-teaching eval, and get their knickers in a knot about that. Okay, Dave Stevens, what are you, hounding me? What is this? You're coming back at me every time you said this. Thanks though, thanks for bringing it up. We need to make sure that everything is clear for folks. When there is a decision, that's not always the case. But when there is one, we should record it. Absolutely. Other questions about what I brought up before I turn to the deans and vice chancellors? Okay, then we'll go to the vice chancellors. Maria.
Okay. Luis already announced the availability of the professional development stipends for summer. But again, it's also available for the lecturers, but that is going to be on the approval of the deans of the unit. And for the lecturers, they can take the award is going to happen when they teach a course with us, because we do not know if they are going to be teaching in fall. So if they teach in fall, then we'll give it to them in fall. If they don't teach in fall, but they teach in spring, then we'll give it to them in spring. So whenever they are going to be employed on our campus is when they will get it. We will be asking for a list of the applicants, of the participants in Top to Go, and also the other professional development initiatives from, let's say, the one in DWARD and the one at UH, so that we could put them all together and figure out, you know, like, because you can do 3 professional developments and be paid $200 each for that. So you can get a maximum of $600 for participating in 3 professional development initiatives. Other than that, I just hope that everything is going well with scheduling the fall semester. I am getting some questions about the testing center. Testing center is not going to be available for proctored exam during the fall semester, because if you look at all the classes that are going to go online, testing center cannot accommodate everybody if that is going to be the way they will be proctoring exams. So we're trying to look for a way. We can maybe make available the cafeteria for testing and have the different faculty have their tests there. I mean, you know, it's something to talk about. It's not set in stone or not. There's just been some discussion going on, but it's not yet decided on what we will be doing for proctoring in the fall semester. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay, what questions does anybody have for Maria?
I can't type as fast as I can talk.
Okay.
As Candy. I haven't been to the last couple of these meetings. I apologize for various reasons, but I'm just wondering where that money comes from, the professional development money.
That's part of CARES 2 funding. Federal dollars that have come to institutions to supplement expenditures that are COVID-19 related.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Louise?
Yes, Laurie?
Thank you. Just to clarify, it's $200 with a max of $600. So if a faculty did 3, that faculty could earn $600 for the summer professional development that they take in.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thanks.
They have to complete whatever the requirements are for the program in order to earn the funding, however.
Thanks.
Wait, now we have questions. Full-time faculty receive a stipend if they don't earn the top? No, they have to earn the certificate. Yes, Maria? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Federal money can be used to expand the testing center to accommodate the expanded need for proctored testing. Expand the testing center, is that a construction you're talking about, Hal? Expand in what way? Expand the capacity. The only way that I can imagine you can expand the capacity is to knock down walls. But I think if we change the location, that might be a little bit, we could accommodate more people being proctored in a larger space, not making the testing center a larger space, because that requires a lot of construction. Right? Proctoring service. So, wait now. Okay.
Louise, I have a question.
Yep.
I was just, actually, this is more for Maria. I just wanted to check in that tomorrow you want us to have our teaching delivery service preferences to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, teaching delivery preferences, not services, sorry.
Yeah, if you can, so if we could finalize it sooner than later, because it's also needed by, let's say, the facilities group and all the others, because everything depends on what we decide on, what the faculty would decide on. Thank you.
Okay, there's lots of questions about different ways of doing proctoring, and I think we've been around this tree a few times, if I remember. So let us put that aside for now. I think that's something that Maria and the deans will need to be thinking about. Is there will be, with a lot of new classes that we're going to be putting online, there will be a need for proctored testing. So let's put that in a parking lot for today, but let's make sure that we have an answer for folks about how do we accommodate this increased need for online test proctoring. Okay. Now, Lee is answering something else too. What? Maintain a classroom because the online teachers either offering online proctoring as an option or we can blah, blah. Okay. All right, well, you guys enjoy your conversation on the side. Any other questions for Maria? Specifically? Okay, Noel. We lost him.
Sorry, I was on mute. So just a quick update on the Student Services CCC. We met earlier this week. What we're doing is mapping out all the spaces on campus that have student interaction. So similar to academic affairs, we have 3 tiers. Tier 1 is must be face-to-face more than 75% of the time. Tier 2 would be components, so basically a hybrid. Tier 3 would be not face-to-face. So basically what we're gonna use this information is to map everything out to then start to work with those programs who are considered tier 1, for example, the Kekalike Center, and then make sure that they have processes and procedures in place for when we reopen for the social distancing. So I think right now we're about a quarter way through the list. Some of them, for the student services, it's fairly easy because those programs that are already on campus and face-to-face are basically considered tier 1. So you take the library, Kekalike, HIC, since they're open on Fridays, and they're all in the tier 1 or tier 2 category. What the committee will now be doing, so you might be getting emails, is it's really hard, or especially for me, I don't know too much about the common spaces like Kalia, Kopiko, where your department secretaries are, and if students would be coming into those areas. So you might be getting an email either from Kevin, Andresak, or myself, just kind of asking these questions. And what we're trying to do is just get an overall idea of if programs have been thinking about this, and if they have, how do they plan to offer these services once we do get to the near future when we start to open. The other big thing we worked on was basically mapping out all the common spaces outside. So this would be the tables outside Iliahi, even that planter sitting areas outside the library, and even the Kopiko courtyard, to then determine how much people could actually sit down at these tables or benches, maintaining the 6-foot distancing. So I think I'm gonna have to work with Brian's group to go ahead and measure out these areas, but the idea right now is that there would be signage that also shows how students should be seated to kind of maintain that distance. And then we're trying to look at the frequency of the signs, because as you notice, our campus, you can really sit down in a lot of different areas. And hopefully try to broadcast this back to the students in the campus once these things kind of get more official. So those are the big things that we're looking at. A lot of it is just an inventory check. The next step is really looking at signage and the frequency of it, and exactly where to put it, because a lot of these places are going to be outdoors. We also got to think about how durable these signs will be once we move forward. So that's the feedback from the committee for now. I know some of you have asked about credit and non-credit options for these students, especially I think for those students who have been put on probation, suspension, and or academic dismissal. And I'll be sending out an email later on about the next steps for that to kind of help those students. And then most likely we'll be doing a campaign for the students who got A's and B's, but for some reason switched that grade to credit, no credit. We'll probably do an email campaign to see if they want to switch back, only because it's more beneficial for those students to have an A or B. I think that's like less than 60, so a little bit more manageable where we can do a manual process for that. But that's all the feedback for now.
There's a request, Noel, for you to repeat your 3 tiers.
Next time, listen, Nava. Tier 1 must be face-to-face more than 75% of the time. Tier 2, components of the weekly service must be face-to-face. So tier 2 would be programs that are mostly online, but certain days they're open. So for example, HIC is closed Monday through Thursday, so it's offered remotely. Friday, they are open for face-to-face come-in. So that would be considered a tier 2. Tier 3 is basically the service doesn't need to be face-to-face and all of it can be done remotely. And I think this is just to jumpstart those programs who are in tier 1 to really start thinking and planning, and more importantly, work with Brian and his request to make sure whatever supplies is needed is being secured now.
Other questions for Noel? Thanks, Angela, for putting the tiers in the chat. Okay, here's a question that I don't know who's going to be able to answer it. Jerry says, or asks, is it true that the logo face mask can only be used for work? Anybody know that? I've not heard that. I don't know why that would be. And who would be out there policing that anyway, following you into Safeway with your logo item mask? And I believe that the logo is a UH logo, not a Kapilani logo. Is that right, Brian? Is that what you heard?
Yeah. What announcement was made, Jamie?
It was in the
in
announce,
the
the news.
bulletin. Yeah, in the news bulletin.
Interesting.
It was super weird. It was like for work only.
Yeah, so I have no idea, and I did not send that, and that's not a requirement that I would put down. So some of you are private chatting me saying I am the mask policeman. No, I'm not. I know. I understand this. I understand this. The bookstore ordered masks, and every campus was, of course, asking for their own logos. A decision was made by bookstore management to get a mask that reflected all campuses on the mask. What happened was the printer neglected to include UH Maui College, probably because they always want to think they're special, but I editorialize. And so as a result, it may have come out saying that you can only use it for work because these are seconds, essentially. So if you wear it out for public, then other people are going to, be like, hey, it's a screw up, it's a mess up. I don't know. That could be the only thing I can gather. I understand at this point that new correct masks have been ordered and should be coming in next week. We still do not have, however, specific KCC logo. And so that was kind of a bummer to me. They are the reason why for the bookstore is that it just costs too much, and campuses don't want to order 5,000 of these, 6,000 of these, which is when you're going to get it to an affordable price. So they had to do it with all 10 campuses.
And it's black, not green, so it's not really Manoa green, right?
I believe so, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but black matches more than that KCC blue, so.
Yeah, for evening wear, it's more appropriate.
There you go.
Yeah. So just be careful, Jerry, when you're walking around town with the UH police will come and rip the mask off your face and say you're not allowed to wear it. Crazy. Okay. Brian?
Yeah, my report is really short. It's just one with regard to COVID. It's just one quick announcement, and that is particularly, so everyone should be working on an office space return plan. Basically, if you look at our campus, we essentially have 4 spaces, right? We got the 1 to 2 person office kind of deals, which is mostly faculty offices. We have group offices. Group offices are like HR, business office, the arts and sciences secretarial pool. And then we have the large support offices, KISC, MKC, business office HR. That's where people would come in, line up, and they have, you know, actual customers coming in. And then there's classroom and labs. We need these plans for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we need them because, as President said in his email, we're not going to come back. We're not going to return to work until we have some sort of plan in place, a safety plan in place. So that's the first thing. The second reason is, for some of you, especially the larger support offices, again, KISC, they may need a couple of barriers built. They may need to purchase maybe a sneeze guard or a clear shower curtain to make sure that folks can be properly protected and safe if they can't, you know, maintain a 6-foot distance. Or you just may need the help of moving a desk or individuals. We really need those plans in, particularly if you feel in your plan that you're going to be requesting some sort of sneeze guard, because right now, I don't even know where to get plexiglass. And these manufacturers who are making these throughout the island as well as nationally, they're bombarded at this point. So please, again, particularly for the large offices, and I've met with a couple of you folks, but there are many more that have not, you know, reached out to anybody, either me or your respective administrator, for some sort of sit down or walk through as to what you're thinking you would like to do. So that needs to be done. Again, the CCC will be reviewing all requests for expenditure of funds for facility modifications, for facility related purchases, again, such as sneeze guards. And we cannot look at that or approve it unless there's a plan in hand and we can view things in light of that. Okay.
Ryan, there's a question about, and this is not necessarily one for you to answer, but the department chair should be considering gang offices for the faculty. So there are some lecturers that have gang offices. I'm aware of at least a couple of offices in Kalia building that I'm aware of just from my time living there, that there were lots and lots of faculty in there at the same time, lecturers. So if you do have lecturer gang space, do you want to see a plan for that? Or is it just, you're in there with somebody else, you better have your mask on, and sometimes 6 feet is not possible because there's 2 people in the office at the same time?
Yeah, so a couple of questions. Jeff, I'll get to your question right after this if I don't, remind me. When it comes to those situations, particularly the 1- and 2-person or even 3-person offices, it needs to be a plan. I'm less concerned about that plan as your neighbor should be, as your co-space sharer should be, because you guys all have to be comfortable in that office. But more importantly, I see, again, I don't know what gang offices or how many people we're talking about, but this is where both Louise and I or all of us on the CCC or the administration are a little bit concerned, because we are going to need to, if we want to properly ensure there's social distancing and we don't have a lot of people crowded into spaces, we will need approval to continue work from home. Even for some of these shared offices like KISC, for example, it's going to be very difficult to do things unless at least a few of those folks can work from home. I'd apply that same thing to these gang offices. So that is something we will continue to work on, and we'll give you guys guidance on whatever approvals we get as we move forward. Is there a template for the plan? That's a great question, Jeff. So right now, Joanne's committee is working very hard and diligently on a template or a form. I'll have her maybe address that, but so there is one. But for right now, if you can easily start working on whatever plan. And I always just boil it down to the who, what, when, where, why. You know, what is your plan? What are you going to do about social distancing? Who is going to be wiping down commonly touched areas? Where is the line going to line up? Where are, you know, so all of these different things, you're going to have pre-COVID operations, and now you have post-COVID. And how has COVID impacted all of those? If you stick just to those questions, it should be fairly easy for you to respond to the template as soon as it comes out. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, there is a question about, even if you have our own office, they are small and not sure how you would meet students there. So yeah, the question would be, if you want to meet face-to-face with a student, you may want to go outside where you can get the social distance, or maintain your student contacts through the telephone or through Zoom, through those technology mediated technologies. That's not right. Technology mediated technology. Anyway, through mediation of technology. If you are, especially if you are concerned for family members that you're caring for, and you want to be very sure that you're not carrying anything back and forth from school, then maintain it through technology. Probably the smartest thing to do.
With regard to, I'm going to just sort of just tackle some of these questions, LP.
Yep.
Okay. With regard to Michelle Carter's question, high-risk people, diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, right now, the Office of Human Resources, the System Office of Human Resources, along with the DHERD, or the Department of Human Resources Development, the state level, they are working on all of these different issues from the personnel side. We don't get regular updates or guidance on this, but we've been told that they are working on how that is going to happen. We don't have any exact response to that other than we're going to keep you informed as we are informed by the system. Raf, I will tell concerned staff to reach out to the department heads now to address their individual office concerns. Less about concerns and more about just coming together with a plan, working on a plan together. And as you work on that plan, as you problem solve it, some issues may pop up and you can't work around them. Right? There's only so much you can do in a 10 by 10 space that 2 people or 3 people share. And this is where like the work from home will come in. Will parking be expanded soon? Oh, that is an interesting question. I'm going to get to that in 1 second, Annie. Is there any more questions about the office plan? Kind of what you guys should be thinking about? Worry less.
Guy Kellogg has questions about the furniture in the classroom. Who's responsible for repositioning, storing, and who's going to be responsible for marking hallways and walkways if we get to that point and have 6-foot distancing and arrows? Who's going to be doing all of that?
That's going to be all lock services or admin services. We definitely may call in, for assistance, especially in those areas that are predominantly, I guess, managed or run by areas of the college, such as Iliahi, the subway area. I really want to defer to second floor Kikaha as well as Roman folks, because that is their space and we need to work with them. Any other questions about? Okay, so I'm going to move to this next question and this next announcement. Back in November of 2017, I'm going to refresh everyone's memory. Back in November of 2017, the University of Hawaii, all 10 campuses, began public meetings regarding changing Hawaii Administrative Rule 20-12, which deals specifically with UH parking fines and fees. At one time, or prior to November 2017, each campus kind of had their own fee structure, their own fine structure. After March of 2018, it was finalized fines only. Fees are still up to campuses, but now all 10 campuses of the University of Hawaii shares the same fine schedule. We did not implement that fine schedule and will not be doing so until July 1st. We didn't at the time back in March of 2018, simply for the reason that that was when we were supposed to begin a breaking ground for PV. Now, it took a little bit longer than we expected, but we knew we were going to be shutting down parking. We knew we were going to be doing lot resurfacing. So at that point, it would have been, really unfair for us to do so. On or about July 1st, or as soon as the resurfacing project in Lot C is completed, we're going to be instituting the that fine schedule. And that fine schedule, if you're interested, is on HAR 20-12. What I will do also is I will be sending out an email to the entire campus, and I will include that link in there so you can review it. Bottom line is this, because I can anticipate what's going to come down. No, we are not unilaterally deciding to increase fees and make it harder for everyone. This is something that has been in play for the university for quite a while now. And it is high time that we followed the rest of the 9 other campuses, including neighbor island campuses, in doing this. So again, this will be instituted once the Lot C resurfacing is done. So if they come back and say, hey man, we got a problem, we can't finish till August 1st, we'll implement it on August 1st, but it's looking like it's going to be July 1st as of right now.
And what about opening up the parking? That was the question. Will parking be expanded soon?
Yeah, so, well, when you say expanded, you're talking about are we going to reopen Lot C or Lot B? Right?
Yeah, I would think that's true.
And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. So once that resurfacing is POW, then we will reopen Lot C.
But what about A?
Oh, I'm sorry. A already is open, folks. A has been open for 3 or 4 weeks now. It does have a little bit different hours. It goes from, I believe, 7:45 to 5 p.m. But yeah, A is open.
And B?
B will remain closed for now for a couple of different reasons. That is, Lot C and Lot B are the most highly used lots by the public. And it is very, very difficult for us to control the public parking in Lot B.
Okay.
Lot C is easier because we have 2 gates on it. Lot B, we have 0 gates on it unless we put the barriers up.
Is there a need for any authorization to park in Lot A? Can anybody park in Lot A?
No, summertime we're not, we're allowing pretty much anybody to park there. I often hear, I want to remind the faculty who work up in Copico or who park in Lot A that oftentimes these faculty and staff are the ones saying, hey, we got to let students park there. Hey, we should let students park there. But you're also the first to say, hey, Brian, there's no parking in Lot A. And, you know, it's a double-edged sword here, okay? I don't envision that's going to happen because we just don't have that many students on campus right now. But it's a difficult thing to get both ways here on this one.
So it looks like there's some request to expand the hours in Lot A. And there's a question about a gate by Leahi going to be open for Lot A?
As of right now, we're going to keep that gate closed. But I will definitely look at how we can do that in a manageable way. Jeff or Jan, whoever asked that question.
Both.
Not sure, Cheryl. Not sure at all. Lots D and E, I do not know when they'll be available. Right now, PV is still going on. Lot D down at Alani will open well before Lot E will. But we have a little bit of a delay on the PV, not on the construction side, just on the hookup side. I think for all intents and purposes, let me find out and I can announce that on next week, Wednesday's call.
Okay.
By fall semester, yes, it should be available for parking by fall semester.
Okay, who knew parking was so interesting? I would not have guessed that.
This is fun. This is just good. Just read questions. So Susan J, when is Nile going to be reopened? Soon? This is the building's nice, man. I mean, the building is super nice, but it is one of those ongoing projects. We just ran into a bunch of issues. I do expect them to be able to move in by August 1st.
Which year?
This year. Yeah. Any more bike racks on the menu?
No, but I know we were talking about it a while ago about doing it, and we were just trying to determine which stalls we were going to take away. Because we're not supposed to, we don't really have spots next to buildings that we can park bikes.
Okay, well, I'm going to move on to the deans because they may have something other than parking to talk about. So, Lisa, anything you'd like to share?
Find my mute button. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, excuse me. Only a couple of things. First of all, we I sent out an email that was shared from System with regard to cross-campus PD. So this would be something that we would look at designing professional development specific to particular courses or content delivery, those types of things. It could look like something where we share across campuses where we have similar programs. It could even be within our own campus across different departments if we have content that could be similar in nature. So if anyone has any proposals and a group wants to put something together, please let me know. This would fall under the same criteria and requirements with regard to the $200 stipend at the cap of $200 at the cap of $600. But let me know and we'll jot that down and get a group together for that. And then second, we know that bringing our students back to complete spring and for the summer courses that have to be face-to-face, we're kind of learning as we go as far as how much time it's going to take for the students to complete these courses. You know, obviously how we've delivered before is different now. So you may have estimated how much time it would take to bring them back to campus and complete, and now you're finding that perhaps you might need some additional days or something like that. So if you need to have facilities, have the areas prepared, AC, cleaning supplies, those types of things, please route a request through me, and then I'll make sure that facilities and Brian and his folks would know what the need is so that we can make sure everything's ready for you. So as you go through and you say, oh, we're going to need another day to get through this content, just let me know and I'll make sure that we have things ready for you. That's it.
Thanks. Questions for Lisa? Okay, John?
Yeah, aloha everybody. I have no additional updates to the updates. I do have a shout out and maybe a reminder. The shout out goes to Brandon Markhiga and his shared services team who continue to provide fantastic perspective, options, and solutions as we're going through this. And if you're stumped on things, this is just to everybody. If you're not going in and talking to them to see it, to put their brains to work on what we need to create solutions. And for me, it's also about options. Make sure you spend the time in there. They do a great job, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Congratulations to Shared Services on that one. Okay, Naval?
No updates really, but I do have a question for Lee and Jamie. So I'm not a total dropout out of top. I made it to the second week, but kind of a dropout. But while I was in there for maybe 2 weeks, I just wanted to ask Lee and Jamie if they could possibly explain how maybe some of our academic advisors and counselors could be part of TOP, just because I can kind of see how their understanding of TOP, which almost seems more academic focused, could actually be something that could bridge both academics as well as counseling at the same time.
Yeah,
Yes.
their
go
best
ahead.
bet is probably Top to Go, and Jamie can tell you more about that one. That's probably the best route for academic advisors and counselors.
Yeah, I was going to say we actually have some student support peeps and some counselors in Top to Go. We had some in the spring and we have some this go round too. The registration's closed, but we have summer 2 coming up. And basically, you don't have to complete the certificate to join Top to Go. So everybody's welcome, even if they kind of want to be like a lurker and just kind of learn and see what instructional faculty are doing. But some people, we had librarians come in and they're developing training, like Guy is doing the SOS stuff online. So we're happy to have them come in and help them adapt the materials to whatever suits their needs. But yeah, everybody's welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Naval, you want to tell us about next steps? Anything, updates?
We have a meeting at 4 this afternoon. We're funny, but I'm learning more about how important the registrar is. So right now with the top courses, the withdrawal date has been moved to the regular withdrawal date during summer school to the second to the last day of the course, which means Jerry has to go in and make changes to these pot codes. So for summer session 2, we're just trying to get consensus amongst the other campuses of what the pot code is going to be, and then we're going to start scheduling summer session 2. But so we, I think we started enrollment in the Health 120 and 121 classes. That was last week, some Friday, I think. And yeah, so those 3 sections are all full already. So within less than a week, they were all full. So seems like there's a lot of high school students interested in the health sciences. That's it.
Okay. There are questions in the chat about Candy and now Calvin also saying you really can't decide on how you want to deliver your classes until you see the options. I think you want to be thinking about how you want to teach the class. I think the options that are going to come out of the system are going to be how do the schedulers make sense of what you want to do and schedule it in Banner in ways that are consistent across the systems. I don't think you want Banner codes to determine how you want to teach. I really think you want to think about how you want to teach and deliver your classes. And that was the message you got from, hey Candy, that was the message that you relayed from Dawn, right? Was how does faculty want to teach the class? That should be what determines.
And since that time, there's been some really innovative ideas on how, particularly the hybrid is kind of the most confusing, and how we don't make that extra work. Because if you are teaching 2 in person and then after that, you know, you're doing extra work online, that's just extra work, right? So, so some really innovative ideas, but even an idea from my department chair today, as there's a Friday class, and he's like, you know, we can go ahead and hook up the monitor to the class next door, and we can do 15 in one room and 15 in the other, right? So if those sorts of things are possible, the more possibilities that we see, the more helpful. And Susan J just did an awesome video. I'm telling on her. I'm not sure that I'm supposed to be telling yet on the different options as well. So just, you know, just want to make sure, because, you know, Senate's a very much sort of been out of these conversations that I think are really important, and I wish we played a bigger role. But I'm trying to stick my nose in all of it and just make sure that, you know, I'm there for the faculty.
Okay.
I did a video on different types of hybrids, and right now the department chairs are looking at it and giving me feedback, and I hope to get it to them soon and they can send it out, and then people can take a look at it if they want.
Okay. I think the more you can share with each other what your terrific ideas are about how you might deliver, I think that's the best that you could possibly want, is having you guys talk to each other about what you're thinking and what's possible. I don't know if there's a central repository for, you know, cool ideas, but keep talking to each other. I think that would be the key. Okay, Carol Pushko?
Yes, I just wanted to remind everyone that through our community and continuing education, we're going to be starting a series of community service webinars on June the 9th, and the topics will range from anything from cooking with Dante to health, mental health, domestic violence, to cyber hygiene and cyber security, to money management, and a variety of other topics that I think you and others will be interested in. And they're also a way of helping to keep our community informed, as well as introducing people to all of the wonderful classes that we offer on this campus. And if you're interested in presenting anything, you can get in touch with us through continuing ed and community relations. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Questions for Carol? Joanne?
Hello. Okay, so I'm reporting on the employee safety subgroup. It's a really great group. It's Linda Katsuda, Chad Yasuda, Justin Kashiwaeda, Jung Kim, Annie Thomas, Deneen Kawamoto, Lauren Tawamoto, Joanne Nakano, and me. We've been working really hard over the last 2-3 weeks. We've taken guidelines from the CDC, combined it with the governor's plan and the information that we're receiving from the university, the UH and the UHCC, and we created some documents. They're guidelines at this point. And as Noea was saying, we actually are kind of overlapping a little bit, but we're actually seeing, we sort of did our work based on the lens of employee safety. So we looked at office spaces, we looked at classrooms, general process for classrooms and labs, common gathering areas for students, just like Noea was talking about, all the different places the students go for services, outdoor spaces, and just common areas in general, like like we have like common printers, and even just bathrooms and just areas that everybody goes to. And we set up a set of guidelines, and I've just sent it to the administrators, and we will be discussing them on Friday. And to Jeff's question about like, what are the guidelines so that we can actually do the plan, I think you can still start talking about it. I mean, they're basic general themes, right? It's always face coverings, 6 feet apart, especially your workspaces, and, cleaning, a frequent, like, especially high touch areas like the printer and the copier, do you have cleaning, and how do you keep your areas clean? And I think if you folks start that conversation, that when the documents come out, you'll at least have had a chance to just kind of get the conversation going. We also, Annie Thomas created a Google form that will help with the questions that Brian is asking for. So just give us a couple days so that we can vet all this and make sure that we're not being redundant. It should be coming out soon, maybe as early as next week or the end of this week. So just kind of keep aware that things are coming out. Just hold on. And that's it.
Questions for Joanne? Okay, then open for business. Any questions, any announcements, anything anyone in the audience would like to share? There's a commercial, for a public service announcement about the gamifying your class webinar tomorrow with Kavehi. And Dave Evans will do a rendition for us, I think.
Luis.
Yes.
So if maybe in the second week of July, I know it's kind of looking far ahead, but we have 2 faculty in arts and sciences who are piloting teaching face-to-face for second summer session. And I was wondering if maybe we could have, I'm gonna ask them, maybe we can have 5 minutes for them just to kind of share their experience. I know folks want to get back to class, but I think if we kind of listen to their thoughts of being in the classroom and kind of coming back to teaching face-to-face might, I don't know, just trying to see how we could share their experience with since we have 128 folks on Zoom.
Actually, we could ask, by that time, we could ask a couple of other people too. Culinary guys and the health guys will have been doing their face-to-face classes too. So it'd be good, have them from all the disciplines. Let's see. Angela brought up a question from Cheryl Fucino about placement testing, face-to-face placement testing. Annie, do you have an answer? Or anyone from the library?
Hi, yeah. So I just consulted with the testing center, and so right now they're primarily doing Accuplacer via Zoom, but if a student doesn't have access to internet or issues, then they can contact the testing center to make arrangements for a face-to-face exam. So it's kcctest@hawaii.edu, and they can email the testing center to set up if they're having problems with doing a remote placement test.
Maria, did you want to say something?
In addition to what Naval was saying earlier about the classes, we also have one class that is going to be hybrid that it's cross-listed.
Okay.
Yeah, Naval.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be a good way to learn what the experience is. You know, like how did he handle having two classes, two CRNs with the same equal number of students in each class.
Okay. Actually, you could be asking that question of lots of the dance faculty and the music faculty who've been doing that kind of piggyback class forever. They've often taught two CRN classes, two very different classes actually, at the same day, the same time, in the same room. Which is a little bit different, but kind of similar. Sunny's put up a URL for testing, and we have 3 minutes to go. Anybody else have stuff to share?
Louise?
Yes, Dave. I'm so pleased.
Would it be okay to end on a slight chuckle?
Oh, always.
A slight? I mean, I know I hate to be a Debbie Downer on all this exciting topics that we've had, but and I don't know if Roger Reed is on with us today, but he sent me a photo this morning. And for many of you know, I've been sort of poking fun at this idea of the cone of silence from social distancing. So I'm going to get out.
Roger's on.
Roger's on. Well, thank you, Roger. So I'm going to get out of the way. This he'll know more about it than I do. Apparently, it was a photo in the Washington Post, I believe. So let me slide out of the way. And like I said, for those of you that mocked me about the cone of silence and thought I was being silly, check this out.
Yes, I see it. Are they in a restaurant or something?
They're in a restaurant, which, yeah, seems a bit bizarre. But anyway, thank you, Roger, for that. And see, I knew what I was talking about all along. You guys thought I was nuts, but I'm a man of vision.
There were pictures of
or insanity, one of the two. I don't know.
Kids in Korea sitting in a dining hall, all of them bordered by plexiglass on all sides.
Mm.
Then we just have to wear them. Yes, exactly.
Don't get me started on hamster balls again.
With a vacuum tube though, right? Because you need. Yeah.
Well, yeah, or maybe Elon Musk has got some extra SpaceX suits that we could all wear.
Yeah, how does he get away with having such svelte suits when the NASA astronauts had such bulky things?
Yeah, they're looking pretty chic, aren't they?
Very, very chic. Anyone else like to share some thoughts? Okay then, our next meeting will be next week, Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So in the meantime, be good to each other, take care of yourselves. We need to be strong and healthy for all of this difficult stuff that we're doing. And go ahead and unmute yourself and say goodbye, everybody. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Have a good week. Bye.
Bye. Bye.